Welcome back to Homeright Garden. Today I'm going to give you a full garden tour of what's going on in our January garden. So let's get into it so we can see what's in all these beds. It's cold, the days are short, and we've had a few frosty mornings here in North Carolina, but the winter garden is still going pretty strong with a lot of vegetables in the garden. Some crops love this winter weather, while other crops needed a little bit of frost cover just to get through the winter season. So I'm actually going to start in this section right here. We originally had blueberries in this area last year, but we moved all of the blueberries over into this whole section over here. Keith went ahead and planted some citrus trees, and we needed to cover these citrus trees here in central North Carolina in order to protect them in our Zone 8 area. Still have the blackberries here that are trellis, but I really want to get into the beds over here and what's in these. This bed right here has Brussels sprouts. There is a little bit of Brussels sprouts starting, but they are small. There's not much going on with these guys yet. Not too sure if we'll actually get bigger Brussels sprouts or not. There was also some bok choy in the corners, and we've been harvesting those as we've gone along. We also have in this bed here, again, Brussels sprouts, same as the other one. And then in the back here is a little bit of garlic, and then we've had lettuce around the outside. This lettuce, red lettuce, is just starting to shrivel up. It's just way too cold at this point. Then in these two beds here and here, we had broccoli. Broccoli has actually been doing pretty good. First time we've gotten really good heads like this for our broccoli. We did go ahead and harvest the broccoli in this bed already, and then around it is a little spinach in the beginning, in the front of it. Did not do very well, and then we had a little bit of collards in the back. Then I had a couple extras of the shallots, and they're just sprinkled throughout all of these beds in several different places. And in the back over here was some mustard greens, but we've been harvesting those. They're just about done. And again, we had spinach across here, but the spinach just didn't work for us this year. In these two beds is cauliflower. I do not have any heads on these cauliflower yet, so I really don't know if anything is going to happen with these guys, but I'm still hoping for something. Then across the front is a little bit of cilantro, same over here, and then the shallots again. I did get a little bit of dinosaur kale across the back here, but that's kind of fading out, almost done. And I think, yeah, I had dinosaur kale in this one too. Then in the back two beds over here is my purple sprouting broccoli. For the purple sprouting broccoli, these guys are actually just starting to do some of the sprouting. You can see in between the leaves right there, or where the stems are, they're just starting to do that little bit of sprouting. So I'm pretty excited about the purple broccoli. Then there's a ton of shallots mixed in the middle, and then I have some parsley across the front. Again, the same over here. We've been harvesting a ton of the herbs this year, so done very well with the herbs. So in this whole section over here, I got a couple of grow bags with cabbage across there. Keith has a banana tree here, and like I said earlier, we moved all the blueberry plants into a whole section right here. Call it the blueberry patch area. And you can see way down there, there's a whole row past the blueberries, which is the apples. We used to have all the apples way back in the corner there, but we kind of straightened them all out into a nice line. So I am actually going to get into this part of the garden here. I'm going to start from this side. We have a Veikous persimmon right here, a freedom apple, a liberty apple, and two pomegranate trees right there. Let's get into these beds. This bed right here, let's see, I got one broccoli. I had a couple extra broccolis left over, so I tossed them in the middle here. But in the front, I have some garlic, some parsley, and then in the back was some collards. This bed over here had Swiss chard in the front. Swiss chard is kind of dying off at this point. It's a little too cold for it. More broccoli in the middle. Little heads are just starting to kind of peek through there, and a little bit of mustard greens in the back. You'll see every once in a while I had a couple of onions that were left over, and I've just sprinkled them into a lot of these beds throughout the garden. This is the Louisiana shallots across here, and this bed also has Louisiana shallots. On this side of it, I threw in some carrots. I also have carrots here, but again, I threw in a couple more of these extra broccolis that I had, and again, pretty excited about these heads popping through. Next 2 beds down, I have carrots with Russian kale in the middle. This is looking amazing. So bright green, beautiful. I probably need to be thinning a little bit of the carrots. And on this side has the Russian kale and the garlic popping up. Garlic is really starting to look good. Love it on both sides. Next bed down, this has our dwarf curly kale in the front, a little bit more of the broccoli in the middle, and then Russian kale, excuse me, in the back of the bed. And then on this side, it's the same with the dwarf curly kale in the front, broccoli in the middle, and in this bed I put some of that dinosaur kale in the back side. We did add a new bed this year on both sides of the greenhouse. One is there and one is there, and we put onions in the D-shaped ring and the long 2x8. On this side over here, I have red bulbing onions. These are called Actama red onions. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And then on this side is my yellow onions. These are Australian brown yellow onions. Again, it's the same onions in D-shaped and in the long ring. Between these 2 beds, that's about 100 onion bulbs. So 100 there and 100 there. Let's pop into the greenhouse. So in the greenhouse here, we have a little bit of radishes in this bus box. We have some greens. These are kind of like a spinach, and then some lettuce here. This is a mixture of butter crunch and some black-seeded Simpson. Then Keith has some other plants in here that he's been trying to keep going. I think this is a lime tree right here. This is a bay laurel leaf. A little bit of thyme. This is a silver dollar eucalyptus. We really cut this way, way back. And then this is a whole bunch of oregano. And on this side over here, these are our hibiscus, different colors. We have pinks and yellows and reds in that area. We have been heating the greenhouse with these pickle barrels, and it seems to be working pretty good for the greenhouse this year. All right, let's move up to this section here. This is our one wooden raised bed that we actually still have. This is about 3 feet by maybe 12 or 14. I have some carrots that are in here. It's first time trying to grow a little bit of rutabaga. I'm getting a little bit, but I don't know if that's going to work. And then I have a couple of broccolis that were just popped into the bed because I had extra space. Some of the things didn't work in here. I had a little bit of turnips that just didn't pan out for us. Got a couple more trees here, a Liberty apple here, and 2 pomegranate trees right there. Here's all of the figs on this side of the greenhouse. Keith has cut them down for the season. Then we moved a couple plants from last year. This is a red gem gumi and a sweet scarlet gumi. If you've been following along on our channel, we used to have a bunch of raised beds that were tiered that came down in this section here, but we decided to take them out. Over in this section, there's nothing there, but eventually we'll probably in the summertime put squashes there. This is a corn bed right here from, or at least what we used to put corn in. We actually moved the white greenhouse here, and we have it for just a little bit of propagation going on right now. And there's a little bit of cabbage in here that was left over that I kind of threw at the backside. Seems to be doing pretty good though across that backside. It actually seems to be doing even better than the containers on the other side of the garden up there. Backwards. So back here are the 2 raspberry raised beds. This one I believe is the Latham red raspberries, and this one's the Black Jewel raspberries. Nothing in the peanut bed. At least this is where we had peanuts last year. So that one's just go overwintering right now. And then coming back over to this side of the greenhouse, again, Keith cut down all of the fig trees. And then we have a couple more figs up here, and then a couple of elderberries. These 2 in the raised beds. This one is, I believe, the John, and this is the Adams elderberry here. Again, if you've been following along with our backyard garden, we actually moved these plants. There used to be tiered raised beds that went all the way across here, but we wanted to make some room for more of these trees in the backyard. I did mention earlier the apple trees. Here's where we lined up all of the apple trees all the way down to the end. And then back here in this other kind of corner raised bed is we have our asparagus. Haven't done great with the asparagus plants. We did just recently cut them all back. So you really can't see much in the garden right now, but hopefully this year we'll actually get some asparagus. Side of the house over here actually has a little bit more stuff going on. We actually tried to do some mushrooms this past year. We had a couple, and I literally mean a couple of mushrooms that popped up, but we didn't have great success with the mushrooms. So we have to decide what we're going to do with that little section. And then we're kind of trying to develop this part of the back side yard and see if we can start adding more flowers in this area and herbs. So it doesn't look like much now, but hopefully we can develop this so it'll be a really nice looking entrance for our garden. So that's the January garden tour. Even in the coldest parts of the year, there is plenty happening out here in our backyard garden. If you're gardening in this month, let me know what you're growing. We do love hearing what's working in other people's backyards in their zones. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out our other videos. We just put a video out on what we're planting in January. So if you want to check out that one, watch this one next.